On everyone. So there's been a lot of talk around just LeBron James and his kind of casual nature this season. Now, all the reports, all the conversation has been like he looks reinvigorated. He looks like a man on a mission. He looks very excited and just looks like he's taking on a whole new life going into this season. But you see him, he's just kind of more laid back. He's like, he's very confident is almost as it seems. I mean, the Warriors game. He goes, he handles business, he gets done. He doesn't leave, doesn't do anything. He goes, showers, changes, comes to the bench, has a meal, has a good time, sits with the team. I mean, even the commentators made a point of it, talking about how, hey, LeBron, he could have easily left. Some guys would have already been, on to the next thing, but he's there, he's on the bench, supporting his team, being a part of his team, and he just looks just fresh in so many ways. And in all honesty, he should, right? I mean, you look at LeBron James and you look at this roster, you can see why he would be so pumped, why he'd be so invigorated, why he'd be so excited for this season, right? He's just kind of out there like, hey, you guys handle this, take it over, let's get ready for the season, right? And I mean, look, LeBron James even said several times in interviews that one of the big reasons he returned and didn't retire, although let me start by saying I don't think he was retiring regardless, but he said one of the big things that got him pumped, and one of the things that I do believe is why he is so sort of energized this season, is the roster and the job that Rob Pelinka did, right? I mean, LeBron said like that was a huge factor when he saw the work that Rob Pelinka put into this roster. He felt like, I have a chance here. And he does. I mean, seriously. They are the deepest team in the league, hands down. So far in preseason, they look like a legitimate contender. I mean, they look fantastic. I mean, scary fantastic. And that's with like LeBron James and Anthony Davis just kind of coasting. I mean, even when LeBron's out there on the basketball court, he's just there. Right? He's doing his thing, right? He's taking guys off the dribble. He's scoring the basketball. Like, he's doing stuff. I'm not saying he's just like, being lazy out there on the court, but I'm saying like he's not overexerting himself. He's not trying too hard. He's just kind of being there, right? Kind of almost like he's taking it in. And it's an awesome thing to see because he doesn't have to do everything, right? And he's not going to have to do everything this season. He's going to be able to take nights off while still being on the basketball court, right? There's going to be moments, don't get me wrong, we're probably going to need him to take over, right? There is that game randomly here and there. Sometimes it's against good teams, sometimes it's against bad teams, but there's going to be nights where he's going to have to turn on the old LeBron and take over down a stretch or something, or go give us like 10 straight points or something. Or, the offense a little stagnant early and we just kind of need a bucket just to kind of stop a run or something. And it's like, okay, well, that's why you have LeBron James and he goes out there and does that. Like, I fully believe LeBron is going to be fresh all year. This roster, I've said this before, this roster is built for LeBron James. They have a bunch of size. They have a bunch of switchable wings. They have a bunch of guys that could play his position. This is a team that could win games even without him if he takes the night off entirely, right? And just, whether it's just for rest or it's like, a little nagging injury that maybe he would play through otherwise, but now he doesn't have to because the Lakers aren't 2-10 and every game is a game 7. Otherwise, they run the risk of missing the playoffs entirely, right? Like, that's going to be huge. He's going to be able to rest his body. He's going to be able to take a little extra time, right? So, inevitably, right? He's in year 21. He's going to be 39. Like, he's going to have little injuries here and there. Plus, he's been injured in every year that he's been with the Lakers, right? And now, knock on wood, hopefully it's nothing like last season, because that was a pretty significant injury. But, you get the nagging, like, calf soreness, or, you get some just like fatigue or whatever, right? It's minor stuff that he might have to play through otherwise, right? With previous teams and previous years. Now it's like, okay, well, or let's say he even takes the days off. He takes, 2 games off. It's like, hey, you know what? We're playing Portland or whatever. Take this game off, Bron. Like, get an extra 2-3 days rest. And then we play Boston next, so come back for that game, right? And he could take that extra game off without having to worry about it. Over the course of a game, we're not going to need him to go get 30 on a nightly basis just for us to be competitive, not even to win the game. I mean, how many times did he score 30 plus last year and we lost, right? So he's not even going to have to be one of those guys that has to go get 30 for the Lakers to even be relevant, right? He can have a night where he's just going to go get 15 and we still win by 20, right? You're seeing what this team is capable of. You have 6 guys that on a regular basis could go give you 20 plus on every given night. Obviously, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, you got D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Christian Wood. That's not counting, the random Taurean Prince game or the random Gabe Vincent game. I mean, they've already had it here in preseason, right? Taurean Prince went for 17 last night. Gabe Vincent went for 18 or 20 the other night, right? So you have those games where that guy could just get hot, or that guy could just go off for 20, even like a Max Christie, right? Has himself a game, has a hot shooting night or something, right? Same thing with Cam Reddish, right? You have guys that on any given night could just go off and no one would be shocked. It's not like one of those things where if Shafino, right? If he came off the bench one night and he went off for 25 or something, we'd all be like, hey, man, good game, right? Because you're not really expecting that. But, if Prince goes off for 25, it's like, oh, he's done that before, right? We've seen him go get 20 plus on an occurrence, right? Usually does that a couple times a year, right? So it's just, you look at this team, you look at the depth and the versatility, and you're seeing the Lakers run all these different lineups and all these different sets, and you're starting to see guys kind of get into the flow of things, right? Like you're seeing Prince had a terror. I mean, he looked like a guy that never played a game of basketball in his life the first game. You can get called fouled, right? 5 fouls already, that's good, right? It's kind of how he was playing. It was like, what? Dude, this dude has more fouls than he has minutes. Can we take a step back? But nonetheless, you've seen the last few games. He's right back to Taurean Prince, and he's been great for us. Max Christie has looked solid. Christian Wood is another guy who was a little rough the first 2 games or whatever. And the last 2, he's gotten back into form. Scored 12 points on efficiency. I think he was 5 of 7 the other night. And then last night he was 5 of 8 for 13 points, right? So the guy is, again, being efficient, going and getting buckets, doing the dirty work. You're seeing him play defense. D'Lo looks like D'Lo is playing so good right now. If this continues, good luck beating. You're not beating this Lakers team. The way that we have seen guys play, if that translates into especially the playoffs, you're not beating them in a 7-game series. If Bubble AD, which we've seen, is back, and D'Lo is easily a 25-8 guy, 25 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 8 assists, or could on any night go off for 25 plus. And Austin Reeves go get you 18, 5 and 5, he's been averaging 16, 5 and 5, right? So that, and Rui and he's giving you 15 off the bench. Wood is giving you 13 off the bench. Gabe Vincent's giving you double digits off the bench. Taurean Prince is averaging double digits. This team is going to be number 1 in offense and number 1 in defense. Now I understand it's preseason, but again, some things translate. There are habits that they are building, that they are showing, that they are continuing to improve on. I already think they're going to be a top defense. I've said I believe that they'll be a top 5 offense, that I wouldn't even be shocked if they're number 1 offensively. They have so many weapons, so many firepowers. We're a good 3-point shooting team. I don't think we're going to be top 5, but I think we're going to be good enough to be terrifying. I mean, the Lakers, the last time the Lakers won an NBA championship in the bubble year, 2020, the Lakers were 26th, if I'm not mistaken, 26th or 27th in 3-point percentage. They averaged 34% or something like that from 3 that season. Again, it's off the top of my head, but I know it's pretty close, right? So, the idea of this team, which I think is deeper, bigger, and more versatile than that bubble team, is also going to be a really good offensive team, which is also going to be a really good three-point shooting team. I don't know how you're going to beat these Lakers. I understand Boston looks like an army. They're 6 deep, if that. Right? Milwaukee, right? And I understand, like, once you get to the playoffs, you're only running 8, 9 guys anyway. But here's the difference, right? The Lakers can run 8 to 9 guys and alternate at any time if guys are having bad nights, right? D'Lo starts playing poorly, you have a Gabe Vincent that could step in. You know, you could go to the bench and go bigger and go with like a Cam Reddish or something like that. Like, you have options, right? Some of these other teams, if a guy or two has a bad night, that they probably lose, right? Like, the Lakers can afford 2 or 3 guys to have bad nights. Not only that, but what is the production? What type of player is the 7th, 8th, and 9th guy? Right? Like, yeah, let's say their 6th man is better than ours. I'm not saying that they are, but let's say it is. Okay, well, if our 7th guy is way better than their 7th guy, and our 8th guy is way better than their 8th guy, and even better than their 7th guy, and our 9th guy is better than their 7th guy, then we're probably getting more production and going to be better, and bench production, which the bench is still going to play. You're not running your guys, 40 plus minutes a game in the playoffs, right? You're good. I mean, you can, but guess what? That means our guys are going to constantly have fresh legs, right? Like, that was one of the ways we beat Denver in 2020, right? We kept throwing bodies at Jokic, right? You throw Dwight Howard, let him bang him up a little bit. JaVale McGee, Anthony Davis. You go and you just constantly throw bodies because he's only one guy. And he has to, every 10 minutes, has to deal with a new fresh set of legs. And he's only one guy, right? And that's how we're going to, let's say we play the Suns, right? We have 15 guys we could throw at Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, right? Like, okay, well, they have Bradley Beal. Fine, let Bradley Beal go get 30. I'd rather Bradley Beal go off for 30 than Kevin Durant and Devin Booker because they're probably doing that on more efficiency, and their 30 is a lot louder and more impactful than Bradley Beal's would be, right? And we still could throw bodies. We have, like I said, there are only 3 guys. We have literally a roster of like 14 guys that we could just throw at them constantly. You could even just throw Shafino out there at 6'6" and tell him, just go give me some hard fouls on Bradley Beal. I'm not talking about some, janky stuff. I'm talking about, good playoff basketball fouls, right? If you foul him, make it count. Be physical, get in his chest, right? Just to throw a fresh, big body on him. Again, these guys are only one guy, 2 guys. Over a 7-game series, you start wearing guys down. No wonder LeBron is excited. He's looking at this as like, I'm probably going to be the freshest I've ever been. Darvin Ham's talking about he looks like year 3 LeBron or whatever, year 4 LeBron. Come playoff time, he probably will be because he's not going to have to go through the grind, especially a lot of these other teams are going to do. Right? Like Phoenix. If Devin Booker and Kevin Durant miss any significant time, like collectively, and Bradley Beal is not a model of health, if they miss any time, like significant time, I'm not talking about a game here and there or a couple games here and there. I'm talking about like if Devin Booker misses a month, Phoenix could be in trouble and fighting an uphill battle. Boston, if Tatum or Jaylen Brown, right, end up missing any significant time, Boston, they don't have the depth to make up for that. They could be in some trouble. Milwaukee especially. If Damian Lillard or Giannis miss any significant time, Milwaukee could be drowning, right? Because they're not going to have a Drew Holiday and guys like that to kind of just weather the storm and help you out, right? They lost a lot of their defense, right? It's a lot of these teams where LeBron James and Anthony Davis, knock on wood, I'm not saying I want it to happen, but if they ended up missing any type of significant time, the Lakers are deep enough, talented enough, and have shown enough that we can weather the storm. I'm not saying we're going to be, 80% win team without LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I'm not saying we can win an NBA championship without LeBron James or Anthony Davis, but if let's say Anthony Davis misses 10 straight games, I truly believe we'll be fine. Say LeBron misses 10 straight games, I truly believe we would be fine. If both of them miss like 5 games, I think the Lakers would be, I think they at worst would be good enough to stay 500, if not better. Right? Because you still have enough fire. You still have 4 guys that go off for 20 plus, like I said. You still have plenty of depth, versatility, size, you name it. That's why LeBron's happy. That's why LeBron seems like he's feeling himself a bit, because he knows, like, this is his best chance to win. This might be the best overall team he has ever had. I'm not saying talent, like, front end wise, because, I mean, LeBron has had, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, he's had Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, but most of his rosters have been really top heavy, right? You got like 5 or 6 guys, and then there's this huge drop off, right? Like, I've even had people push back, oh, well, Miami had like Shane Battier and all, like, they weren't the guys that you know of. Shane Battier, like, that year was like, in his last year of his career, and averaged like 7 points on like 3 attempts. Like, the guy wasn't Shane Battier locked down defensively. He was a below average defender. Like, Ray Allen, he was solid for them, but he wasn't even Boston Ray Allen at that, right? Like, again, he had names on paper. Like Cleveland, he had Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade and all that stuff. Like, that wasn't the Derrick Rose Chicago MVP Derrick Rose, right? Like, again, paper-wise, sure. I mean, even with the Lakers, right? You can make an argument, 2 years ago, that on paper, that might have been, one of the greatest teams ever assembled. Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, right? Like Dwight Howard. Put all those guys in their prime, you might never beat that team. But again, perspective is everything, right? Front to back, this might be the best overall roster as far as fit, pieces, depth, versatility, size, shooting. Like, you have everything you need for this team. If this was 27-year-old LeBron James, I mean, LeBron probably wins the next 3 championships with this roster. Like, there wouldn't even be a question which team is the best. But I understand, people are looking at it as, LeBron is about to be 39, year 21. Can he still hold up? He still was a 38-8 guy last year. If it wasn't for injuries, the Lakers might have won the championship last year, even with the 2-10 start and all that craziness, right? If LeBron was healthy, I think we beat Denver. That entire series was decided by 24 points total or 23 points total, right? A healthy LeBron James could have made up that difference, right? Because he could have put his head down, went to the basket more frequently, he would have been more exposed, all that stuff. Lakers are going to be fine. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you think of LeBron and how he's feeling himself? Do you love what you're seeing? Do you not? Do you think it's because of the roster? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know down in the comments below.